All right.
Hello, Sean.
I'm back again, finally.
Yes. So for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna have you guys introduce yourselves really quick.
I'm Andy from the pop band Panchiko. That's me.
I'm Owen from Panchiko.
Hi, and I'm Sean from Panchiko.
Nice to meet you guys. So you guys are the original members, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the real deal.
So you guys, I mean, I think many people know this, but I want to hear it from you guys and not from the internet. Tell me about
Yeah.
how this started because you guys have an insane story and I want to hear about it.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
Should we do how I received the information, pass on to when I passed it on to other people, and then see what happens? So I guess it all started with a weird internet message on a cold January morning in January 2020, and it was on a Facebook account.
It was a cold January morning.
It was cold January morning. And it was snowy outside, and it was really, really
Setting the scene.
Victorian and dour. But no, like woke up one morning to a message on a defunct Facebook page of like half-assed music I'd made. In a different vein, and it just said, "Hello, the person from this
different
band."
kind of half-assed music.
Yeah. Are you the lead singer from Panchiko by any chance? And I was like, my initial thought was, how would anybody know the name of that band? Because I know that that's from ages ago, before the internet, and we never put it on the internet. And I was like, how would anybody know that name? That's really weird and
We're
freaky.
from a time before the internet.
Yeah, and I guess it was before like Chat GPT and AI came out. So I was like, this has got to be a person. It's got to be a person.
It's got to be a human. So far, we know it's a human who's asking us a question.
So yeah, and then I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. Like maybe not. Even though I knew that I was, but at first I thought it was a bit weird. I was like, what's going on? So they were a bit like, you seem to know something a little bit. The people chatting to us, and
you know something, you do, boy.
So they gave a little bit
You're
of
a naughty
background,
boy.
and they said what happened, and they said your CD was found your CD was put on the internet, and it was really degraded, and we're part of a group of people who are trying to find the original members to get a clean version of the as in like as a not destroyed version, like not a version with not the swearing, with no swearing. Version that actually
you'll not find
it.
So they wanted to find the
original. Sorry, yeah. They wanted to find the original tapes and stuff. So I was a bit like, oh, okay, this is a bit weird. Okay, so after a couple of exchanges of messages, they told me about the story, and I sort of said, yeah, I am. And they said, well, how do we know you're that person? I went, well, I can't really prove it. And they said, oh, could you is there any way you could tell us something obscure that might link us to the music? And I remember saying, oh yeah, I remember where one of the samples came from. Like, so if, and I said, this sample comes from this video game, and if you do this and you play it in a CD player, you'd find the sample. And that seemed to make them go, when they went off for about a couple of minutes, came back and went, yeah, that adds up. Like, we've just found that sample on the internet, and we never knew it was that. So it's like, okay, cool. So
that's legit.
Yeah. That, I mean, it's not the most secure way of saying something is true, factual. So from there, I just went, okay, well, I'm on Facebook. I'll contact Andy. So I said, blah, 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 Andy, have you heard about this? Type in Panchiko into the internet. And where were you, Andy? When
I was in South Korea, of all places. But yeah, and I was equally baffled by it all because I mean it's not really a band name that I'd really thought about or anything for quite a few years, and yeah, it was this amazing kind of thing. And then I think I got in touch with you, didn't I, Sean? And we just sort of all. So it's got a kind of more it's got a lot bigger since that point. We've had maybe a bunch of views and stuff on the YouTube thing that was out and about. And it was, oh, that's amazing that a few people are listening. But now I think if people had got in touch with me now and said, oh, you've got like 100 million streams or something, I think I would have lost my mind. So I would have been on a slippery slope.
Wait,
You guys
so
are almost to 1 million monthly listeners. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
that's
I
like
didn't know
now,
where
isn't
come
it?
from.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's built up over time, hasn't it? It's not been like boom straight away, which has been a nice thing, I think.
Been quite a relatively gradual sort of ascent into these weird numbers. I can't even understand this sort of amount of people listening to us and stuff. It's crazy, but we're very grateful and very happy that people are into it.
Was that ever your intention, you guys think? Like when you made this in high school, was it? Did you ever think anything of it? Like, oh, we want to be big. We want to play all these shows. Or no?
it's always a dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like that's what you kind of aspire to when you want. I mean, we had nothing else to do either.
We still, and 25 years later, we still didn't have anything else to do, which is that's consistency for you.
Life lesson there, kids.
Yeah, I think.
So, I mean, yeah, that's what we wanted, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, but but when you said it, I thought like, well, back then, like if you'd said in the future, in the future time, and not the now, right? In the future times, people will listen to music on the computer, but not downloading it. No. It'll be streamed. It will the data will come over the internet. I'll be like, I don't even believe that will exist. You know, like probably at the time I would have been like, no. Everybody will be listening to mini CDs. CDs the size
They'll
like,
be very tiny.
that big.
They'll still be CDs.
No, everybody would listen to on mini disc in the year 2016 or 2020 or something. But yeah, it's just like I think you just want it. You want it to be big and you want people to like it and you want to be able to have a career in it. But I didn't have a clue what that would be like. You know, I don't think when you're making stuff when you're a teenager, you have any idea of what goes into actually going around and playing. And now we know a little bit about that, which is good.
Because isn't the story, didn't you guys only make a few copies and then you gave it to your friends and stuff like that? Or
yeah, I didn't catch the whole of the question, but I think we maybe made like 30 copies and we passed them around, and I thought it was good music. It was just at the point that we recorded it, nobody else did. So, but now people have caught up with what was. It turns out to be a piece of genius.
There's a resurgence of like the 90s in general and like the early 2000s, and like I think that's true for music too in some aspects. So it's a good time.
Yeah,
love the 90s.
It's a great time.
Yeah, 90s is becoming like a staple style now, hasn't it? Yeah. You know, like it's retro, but it's kind of an aesthetic that's if you like that kind of thing, you can go listen to 90s music now, like on whatever streaming service you choose to partake in listening to music on.
You can listen on Spotify, on the YouTube links. There's so many lovely methods these days.
So I guess you just said you were in South Korea when Owen like texted you about that. But what were you guys doing with your lives like between these like almost 20 years of like this resurgence of Panchiko and then previous to that? Like what were you guys up to?
We were just waiting for the resurgence.
Just sat in front of the TV, but we didn't even have it on. It was just off. Blank screen.
It was static.
We worked. We did jobs.
We did. We did human jobs.
Human jobs.
And we earned the human money, but it was good. And I was doing a lot of music-y stuff, and I know Owen was as well. And Sean was just chopping down trees because he was just angry at trees. Just it doesn't like them.
Rhythmically, I was That's the closest
Yeah.
music I got.
Still made music on the side. I used to, when we first got discovered, I didn't really want to go on about my job because I was doing a job at the same time. Because I used to be a teacher, and that used to involve like safeguarding and stuff like that and things. So I was a bit like, I want to kind of keep those things a bit separate, like doing the music and then having a life as a teacher and stuff. And I used to do like games design and stuff like that. And
Oh,
made music years ago and used to do little events for video game related things back in the day, and did VJing and like did a bit of everything, but only a little bit.
A little bit of this, a bit of that. Yeah, I was doing a lot of mixing and mastering work and live sound, and in quite a few bands and stuff. So I kind of stuck with the whole music thing. I was just sort of pootling around, just doing what I could. It was a nice time, but this is much more fun. You get to go to all these nice places and meet all these people who actually want to talk to you, and that's very strange.
Yeah, we definitely played to rooms and nobody. Like,
yeah,
like
a lot.
which you
Mainly.
have to do when you're in a band. You have to play to nobody, or you just your mates really want to watch you. They really, really want to sit through your entire set, and see everything.
Yeah, because you can see if they leave as well, because it's only down there.
So yeah, and that's a nice thing to gone through, because I think some of the folks that listen to us, they're in bands and stuff. I don't know, like we've been there too. We've been,
Yeah, I
if
think
they're starting out, and that stage before they get big, before they
it feels
achieve.
like it's sort of an attainable thing for anyone, isn't it? Really, and I think even more, it's just a nice story. Even just like, oh, turns out if you make good stuff and if you keep on doing it, then something happens eventually. That's
Yeah,
quite
there's something to be said about that. That definitely, like, just keep doing your thing, whatever it is. Just keep doing it. Don't give up. Like,
never give up. Never give up killing
Yeah.
trees, Sean. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
I won't. I
Oh,
plan
yeah.
to do that.
I guess that,
Yeah.
we're saying we still did music in between, but otherwise doing other jobs. So yeah, I guess we didn't
you
really
got, I think
stop.
that's interesting because you got both, like the best of both worlds. Like you were able to pursue other things at the same time. Well, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's good, and it's still good. It's better now because we can just like sit in the studio writing songs, which is kind of quite nice. And I think some of the new stuff we've been doing, and Sean, Owen, and I have been working on, is really fun.
Yeah, and you just appreciate it because you know what the alternative is. Which is, doing the jobs are satisfying, like, but I like doing this one at the moment. Doing a real job in the real world is good, but this is interesting to do right now as well. So yeah, it's cool.
Well, don't you guys have two other band members, Rob and John?
Yeah, we've got
They
two
let's
do
see.
an amazing job of helping us out with all the live stuff, and they are like doing some stuff with us as well in the studio, aren't they? But we've got that booked in. Ooh, we're going to a studio to do something. What are we doing? I don't know.
Oh, it's some secret studio works.
How did they kind of come into the band? Like how did they get involved?
I've known Rob and John as well for quite a few years. So John had drummed in some of my previous bands, and Rob I've known for a long time, unfortunately. So I think I sort of bullied them both into it, and now they're stuck.
It's just nice to have some help as well, isn't it? When you're playing stuff, you just need people to be able to play parts just in case, if you forget a part, there's someone else playing a part. You can.
It does feel like I could forget everything at any given moment. It's so tenuous.
Pinot Noir.
Yeah, well, I do probably drink too much wine on stage.
I got my Pinot Noir,
but that probably doesn't help. But I don't know. There's a fine line if I were to walk on stage entirely sober, I wouldn't remember anything either. So there's that sort of
Yeah, it's a happy medium.
yeah.
They really help out with like making that sound, the live sound, a lot bigger. And I guess the older stuff was done like kind of bedroom producer stuff. Some of it was recorded lo-fi in a basement, some of it was recorded in a bedroom with samples and things like that. So they come along to add this sort of big extra layer to it. And hopefully when people come see us, they get a really, hopefully have a good experience and hear a lot of very nice sounds played all at the same time. All at different
Normally.
times. They all kind of fit together, maybe.
Some of the songs we play in time.
I guess
But yeah.
I did want to ask you guys about like the video game sample. Why did you guys choose that, or what game is it from? And also your album cover for death metal. Like, it seems like anime is like a huge influence on that, or like Japanese comic book and artworks. I didn't want to ask about that. How did that play a role in your life? Why did you choose it?
Well, I'd always say like I was always like uh an old school otaku. So I was reading something the other day on like some website like Polygon, and it was going on about how anime is like, you know, like it's massive now. There's figures. So
Yeah.
they said if you interview anybody from Gen Z or whatever, or Gen Z, if you interview that and say have you ever watched anime or do you like anime, they said like they get results from certain polls that about 37% will say I like anime, right? And then the other day, and then it said, but if you interview someone from my gen, whatever my generation is, supposedly a millennial or whatever, something like that, or the other generation before. But they said if you interview millennials, like it's 3% that like anime and stuff like that. And back when I was younger, it was like I felt like I was the only. There were people who watched anime. I like video games and anime, and it was a big part of. You know, I loved Japanese RPGs and all that stuff. So I used to put them into songs and stuff and write about that because I probably didn't know about other things in life. And the video game sample thing that comes from, I was a big Sega fan,
Mhm.
and I had a Sega Saturn system. I think was called the same thing in America. They sometimes have different names for consoles. And all the games came on CD-ROMs. And I just got a keyboard that samples stuff. And I was like, oh, I wonder what happens when you put the game CD in the CD player. So I put this game called Burning Rangers into the CD player, and then I'm sure the first track's a warning, and it says, This is a game CD for Sega Saturn systems. Please don't play the track in a regular audio CD player. I can almost say it like verbatim, but not quite. But like, yeah, it says, please don't play this CD in a normal CD player because it's got a data track on it, which will ruin your speakers, basically. And then I was like, wow, all these CD-ROMs have like little samples on them. And I just remember, I think I took it to Andy's because Andy had a posh sampler, and I said, put this on the thing. And then Andy was the one who chopped it up and then made it and played it rhythmically and stuff like that. Yeah.
Just popping it on my little keyboard.
Yeah.
Annoying my whole family, I think. That's the way I like it to be.
But why did you choose the album?
With what you said about the polls, I think that's one of the reasons, like specifically our generation was so drawn to like that album because of like the anime. Because I think our generation, like you said, is a little bit bigger on anime in general.
Yeah. There's so much anime out there to watch, and like it's not like everybody's watching the same anime. They're just watching some anime they like or whatever, like whatever it is on and stuff. And I like that. I think that's great. You know, I think that's great because, you know, I always thought it was interesting stuff. I grew up with it, and I thought, well, why don't more people like this? And it did eventually become something that like talks to people or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I saw the statistics the other day, and it just got me thinking a little bit about it. And nobody's really done any statistics on it, and I thought that explains my life. Like, I should bookmark that website now or whatever. But yeah, but the cover's Andy, so don't know.
Yeah, because I wasn't interested in anime particularly, but I know Owen was. So I went on the incredibly slow internet at the time that my dad had, just had installed or something, and found like literally the first anime picture that I could find, and then went, oh, that'll do, and just stuff some words on it, and then and that was it. So
But then there's
I
the thing
think it was. What's that?
well, that thing that some people say that it does, like some people read that manga and they go, oh, it kind of does fit in with what we hear in the music and stuff. So, I don't know.
I wish I was more considered. I wish I'd read like
Oh, no, it
loads
would
of
have ruined
mangas
it.
yeah, maybe. I think I tend to just do things on a whim, and that's what's got me into all this trouble. So just not only in band, in general life.
So where's the name? Where does death metal come from for you guys?
I'm not sure. Never been asked that. Okay.
I think I just wanted to call the song another genre of music that it wasn't. I think I said in interviews, a lot of it was about like at the time it felt like a lot of people really like. And there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people like new metal and like a lot of listen to a bit of death metal or like stuff like that. And I was a bit like, yeah, that stuff's I like some of that, but I like other music that's really chilled out and slow and ethereal and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just maybe a little commentary on it. Felt like, oh, everybody just listens to this. Why did they just listen to that? But I don't know.
What did they listen to us?
Yeah. Why don't they listen to me? And they didn't, or they did. I don't know. And then Andy did the chevrons in between the letters, which I didn't. I don't know where that came from. Like I don't know what did that, Andy.
There was no inspiration. I thought it looked all right.
It was on a whim.
Yeah,
it's more whimsical.
Well, he's being very modest. He let his subconscious take over. He'd been mulling over this a lot.
My subconscious does a lot.
Creatively made these decisions. And
mainly
just
subconscious
guided him to where he needed to be.
I just wake up some days and I've written whole songs in my dream sleep. So it's I think it came together quite nice though, the whole thing, and I mustn't grumble.
And yeah, I don't have much else for you guys, but I did want to ask a little bit about how do you think your songwriting and music making process like looks today versus how it did when you released your first album?
Well, for me, it was very different for when we were recording Failed at Maths. It was really sort of we were just squeezing it in between jobs and between babies and between all the life stuff. But now I think it's kind of reverted quite well back to how it was before. Like me and Owen and Sean would just be sort of doing a thing and just constantly writing or producing stuff. So it's gone full circle, which is quite nice. And I think some of the new songs sort of really reflect that new or old process that we've got managed to claw back a little bit of time.
Yeah, like it was like some of the stuff we're doing is like we do like doing technical things and playing around in the studio and stuff. But like the other day, Sean sent me like a little bass line and I just thought this is quite nice and just quickly put it in the computer and then tried. Like we don't always do this, but one thing we were messing around the other day is Sean sent the bass line and I just listened to it very quickly and just went, right, get a guitar down very quickly, and then I really liked it and then started listening to it loads, wrote some lyrics and I thought, oh, these lyrics aren't bad, I like them, and then recorded it like on my MacBook speakers, because we do record things on nice like speakers, nice microphones, and I recorded it on my MacBook microphone really quickly, and then I sent it to Sean and go, what do you think? And he goes, yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. And then I sent it to Andy and then we were going to work on it and redo all this stuff, and then we just decided with that one, for better or worse, who knows? No one's heard it yet. We thought maybe keep that take you did on the computer microphone, but we don't do that.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Normally
we're a little more precious. But
Because that felt a bit like being a teenager. That felt like a bit like, yeah, just do it, get the thing down. And then, but then other times you can be like, oh, I really want to explore this, and I really want to keep working at this and see what happens with the sound and stuff.
yeah, I think it just all depends on what the song sort of feels like it wants to do with you. And that song it's just fully formed, wasn't it? Really, just popped out. But sometimes I think songs need to kind of lean on a bit more of the production elements to make it into something that's coherent. But yeah, it's nice to be able to explore these things and have the time. So yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for your tour. I will be at the Milwaukee show up here in the Midwest in Wisconsin, so I'm very excited for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We've not been to Milwaukee before.
Yeah, we
You know
haven't.
Milwaukee?
No.
Yeah, that's a new one for us.
Nice. Well,
Any
That'd be great.
specialities, like food wise, we need to check out?
yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
We'll just say you need to get cheese curds if you haven't had cheese curds.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they're very good here. So
Okay, that's good. We'll get those
That's
tips.
great.
Yeah, we need those tips, don't we? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's just amazing. Like again, to think we have this opportunity to do this and like I don't know, go from this little tiny island where we live on it and go to America and just like it's really wonderful that people get something out of the music.
yeah, you guys have sold out already a lot of your shows. So yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be doing all right.
Yeah.
We're a bit worried about, because we were there last year and the year before, but it just seems to be every time we come back, there's still more people who want to see us. It's nice, despite the fact that they may have even seen us once before.
Yeah.
They want to come back. So
You guys
that's
have
really
great
good.
openers too. I'm very excited for the openers and of course to see you
Oh
guys.
yeah,
Oh,
who's
it's a
at the
great
Milwaukee
music,
one?
I think it might be They're Gutting a Body of Water or Glare.
Oh yeah,
But I love them both. So either any that would be great.
Well, we
we've not
toured
seen
with
Blair before. But
we've not seen
we've
Claire before, so we're really excited to play with them and see them play. And we toured with Gutting a Body of Water before, and that was great. So it'd be great to
Yeah, great guys.
meet those guys again. And that's what's been really nice about it. Everybody's been so lovely. It's just been lovely to go over to America and just take part, and everybody's just appreciating music and enjoying it and enjoying the experience and stuff. And we'll obviously play songs people like, but we might even play like two new songs.
You should. You
Who
should.
knows?
two new songs.
Two new
A whole
songs.
set of new
three new
songs just to really
songs.
annoy everyone.
I don't know. Yeah, obviously, yeah. You don't want to say we're going to just
One
play
of the
new
hits.
songs or new songs because that's not a good idea. Because everybody will be like, why did I pay money for this? They're just paying their 20-minute ambient jazz with Sean doing a chainsaw sculpture through it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's going to be
quite a thing
beautiful.
to behold.
You wait until Sean's Core Anglais solo.